This is the team we're going to be fixing today. It is a Trick Room, like a Porygon 2 Ursaluna team with a little bit of like Annihilate, Volcarona, and the big thing here is the screens from the Grimmsnarl. This is actually a team. This is all taken from my team fixing post on Patreon. I can check it out, type submit, type / like Patreon or something like that. It'll come up basically on my Patreon once a month. I open up team fixing. People can submit their teams, PokePaste rental code, and what we like to do is use the team in a few games, use the rental in a few games to get a good understanding of what was submitted and what the actual playstyle for the team is, and then we actually go into like a team fixing mode where we like take a look, break down all the EVs, and then at the end I'm probably even going to work on some like flow chartings where we talk about like the best leads for the team and then some very specific niche leads that we can do to win some problematic matchups. This first team we're going to be taking a look at here is from Camps Tube. We've actually fixed some stuff for them before. They say, here I have my Porygon Grimmsnarl team where I would be very happy to accept your opinion or your changes. They have a PokePaste link and a rental code, very appreciated. And they said they have already used it several times for tournaments and it has been able to hold its own now and then apart from the opponent's luck, but it somehow lacks fine tuning, which is what we're really going to be taking a look at here. You can swap them on if you think a tactic works better with it, and they're very excited to look forward to my video or stream. So the one thing to really take a look at when we take a look at this team, you can see, I know my webcam and stuff is in the way. This is like Porygon, Ursaluna, Volcarona, Grimmsnarl, Annihilate, Hydreigon. You can see a lot of these EVs. I'll just move this and show you kind of what we're taking a look at here. A lot of these EVs on their team are set for level 100. So being able to optimize these EV spreads is going to be really important. So you can see a lot of these EVs are, this one looks fine. Like this one's wasting points. This one's wasting points. This one's wasting points. You're not optimizing your HP stat enough and maxing out stats that honestly aren't as valuable in these situations. So you got to optimize these EV spreads for level 100 as opposed to, level 50 as opposed to level 100. So that's what we're really going to be working on today. But the first thing we're going to do is just hop into some games and play some games with a rental, because I think the moves and the terras and the items that you chose for this team are actually very, very good. I think on paper, like on just this rental code, this looks like a perfect P2 Luna team with a nice little bit of screens and a different Volk option for a different win condition if you need it. So we'll play some games and go into like a lead optimization chart at the very end to hopefully help you understand what matchups are good, what matchups are bad, what you should be leading, and what you can save for like games 2 or 3. So hopefully you like that. So going into this one, a little bit of Arc Rain, like Sableye. Sableye is very problematic. Like I was saying at the start, you have a lot of like the Mons right, the items right. I think a couple of these terras can be changed. That's just my personal opinion. But the biggest thing I'm probably going to be able to offer you, other than like fixing your EV spreads, is giving you a different understanding into how to organize your team to actually have the right Mons in the back and how to like win the team preview, stuff like that. So yeah, I do think Quash is very good here. I do think screens is probably a good way to play this. So like we can definitely open up the Grimm here. I think there's nothing wrong with Grimm P2. I'm seeing like Grimm P2 be really, really good. I'm just taking a look at some of their stats here. This is Spirit Break, Reflect, Light Screen, Parting Shot, Grimm. So we can actually just go like, you know, Screen, Trick Room, Parting Shot, bring in the Luna. Like I think that's fine. I'm really thinking if I want AV Hydreigon here, if that's not, if that's going to miss the mark. I think there's nothing really wrong with Volk here as a little bit of redirection here. I think I might just go with Volk. Yo, you're here. You missed the intro, but we'll be fixing a lot of stuff here. This is the owner of the team. They're here right now. Yeah, I'm going to go Volk here. I think Volk is very good into Arcaludon. Can I submit a team you shared on Patreon? Because I love it, and I want to tweak it so it fits the meta better. You can, but you'd have to include like what you want it to do better. Right? So like, are you saying like you're gonna submit one of my already made Patreon teams, but you want it to be better or different? If you can be specific about that, I can definitely do that, because we submit a lot of like Patreon specific teams too. All right, so we see Sableye, Arcaludon. So it's probably gonna be Rain Dance, Sableye. With Sableye, you gotta respect a lot of stuff. You gotta respect like taunts, quashes, wisps, so many different things. I don't actually think I'm going to click Trick Room this turn, because I think they're going to taunt me. What I'm going to do this turn is actually just get the Sableye off the board. I'm going to double into that slot with Ice Beam and Spirit Break. And the reason why I want to do this, I want to get the Sableye off the board because it's the biggest enigma that team has in a closed team sheet situation. It could be sashed, it could not be sashed. We get the special attack boost on our Porygon, so even if they are Citrus, they should still be going down. They're going to have to Terra to get around this. And they can come back to like Fake Out, Taunt, Reflex, absolutely fine. Do we just post the rental on chat? No, it's all set up. Like, just you type submit and you're good to go. Oof, that's a lot of damage. So you didn't get a screen off yet, but now there's no way to really stop our Trick Room. So here we go. P2 animation in this game is amusing. It's good. Nice. So Sableye going down is great. Remember, they went for Reflect. And our team has a lot of physical attackers, but like I do think our Porygon is in a really good spot to be able to like wall out an Archaludon if we use it correctly. So Basculegion. So Basculegion can come packed with a lot of stuff. It can get Aqua Jet. Do I care if they Aqua Jet is a great question. Do I care if they Aqua Jet? I don't actually care if they Aqua Jet. Thinking the last one's probably Pelipper. How's your day been? It's been good. No, I'll party. If you want to let me get away with that, I'll take it. And we'll Trick Room. I'm gonna try this. Aqua Jet's absolutely fine. So they're probably banded, and they're probably locking into Aqua Jet, which means we're going to be probably going into Vault here. Snarl's absolutely fine. It's a great play from them, by the way. I think Snarl is the right move on AV Arc as well. A lot of people still like to use Flash Cannon. I like the Snarl. So Trick Room is now up. We are able to go Ursa. We're able to go Volk. I think Vault might be a little bit better. And I'm just going to Terrastalize it, I think. I'm going to Terrastalize it. I'm thinking if I want to Terrastalize it. Because then we'll be susceptible to Draco. But if we get that guy off the board and get to -2, we can actually just win, I think, with Luna. It's going to be kind of hard, but I think we got shots. They might also even just, like... Let me think about this. We have Dragon Terra. I'd much rather have Grass Terra than Dragon here. It's one of the small changes I would make, because you'd also be double dipping your Giga Drain. I think I am going to Quiver here. No, I'm not going to Quiver. I'll just go Dragon Terra, Giga Drain. It's fine. And this is a hard situation. I'm going to pivot out my Porygon for an Ursa and try and get some advantage going. Get my terrains up. Alright. So here's my Ursa. And let's see what they do here. This Giga Drain doesn't, like, Oko them. But they should be going after the Bulk with this, right? They should not be going after the Ursaluna slot. You wouldn't Aqua Jet a Porygon 2. There's like no reason to, right? Yeah, awesome. And we take burns too, but like I doubt. Flame Body, yo, we take those. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. There's another Snarl. So this is gonna make them probably Draco Meteor my Volk. And so since they use Aqua Jet, now they're burned, I don't really have to care. I can actually just pivot out my Volk for my Porygon and just nuke this Archaludon slot. They're allowed to pivot into Pelipper, but I think we can actually hold with the Ursa. The Ursa EV spread needs a lot of work. You can see it's 72 full attack. It's not optimal by any means, but you know, we'll be able to fix it in a little bit. So yeah, I think just the Headlong Rush is probably fine into the Archaludon. And then being able to save our Porygon's very nice. Not gonna lie, I'd be happier here if we had forced the Terra at some point earlier. They still have a Reflect up. Their Archaludon might be able to just eat this. Yeah, how goes it? They might be able to eat this. They do have a Reflect up, but they are pivoting it for Pelipper. Great play. They're just trying to mitigate the right amount of damage. Oh, it's Sinistcha, not Pelipper. Okay, hey, that's different. That works for me. I get to hit this, so that works. And we're pivoting out Volk, getting rid of the Snarl there. Huh. Yeah, Specs works really good. I can try my best to fix it. Special attack boost again. Nice. This Ice Beam cooks Sinistcha here. Here's a Terra from them. I wonder what Terra they go with this. I don't think that, like, Double Dip Water is, like, the sauce that they think it is. But let's see what they got. Because they're burned. You know, it's like, you can do whatever you want, but like, you're burned. I will tell you right now that if after we fix this team, we would be taking a lot less damage from that. We're gonna have to pivot this guy out for Volk next turn, and probably just Ice Beam the Sinistcha. And then we're just gonna try and set up a situation where we can like re-Trick Room or something. I actually want to make sure who's slower. Ursa is slower than Porygon, so like we would be able to get Rage Powdered really bad here, because I kind of want to stay in, but I think I'm okay. I can probably just Ice Beam right there, pivot out for Volk, And I think we can be good to go. Let me mess with my camera for a sec. It's being weird, right? It's being a little bit weird. Deactivate the camera, reactivate the camera. Just a sec, I'll be right back probably. There we are. Aqua Jet's not doing it to Volk. Volk good to go. Ice Beam D's, please. +1 special attack boosted. Oh my goodness, Sinistcha goes down. I'm not a big fan of Sinistcha on this format. I've seen a lot of people using it. I'm not that big of a fan of it. I think you'd be better off in almost every situation with like just a Life Doom on, like a Clef, like a either Clefable or Clefairy, or even like a Blastoise is probably better because it has like fake out support. So Archaludon is an issue, but it can't Terra. So like we just need to wait out the Reflect. This is our last turn Trick Room. We need to wait out the Reflect, and we just come in with Ursa, set a new Trick Room, we're good to go. That Basculegion is also locked into, it's locked into whatever move that is, Aqua Jet. So we're just going to go for Terra Blast into it. I think I will Quiver here. Yeah, it's probably fine. You can just Draco Meteor this this Volk. It's absolutely okay. Yeah, I think it's good as an offensive Mon too. Awesome. They're taken out. Give me one sec. There we go. So Basculegion goes down. You could just drop a Draco, but then it's a -2 Archaludon versus like P2 Luna, and I just reset TR. Yeah, Snarl's fine here. Again, we're also still just trying to wait out. If you ever KO the Porygon, I have redirection with my Luna. Like, I think we're in a good spot here. Alright, let me think about how I want to do this, because we don't want to give him too many boosts. Do I just Trick Room here? I think I can. I think I can just get away with Trick Room here. So Trick Room. And I'll just let Porygon die over the course of like 3 or 4 turns. I guess that's fine. I could also Giga Drain KO my own Porygon. That's actually kind of sick. Yeah, let's just do that. Because we don't want to give him any stamina procs yet. There's no reason to. We can just come in and go for like a high horsepower and win the game. Alright. There's a Snarl. Yeah, he's making the right play, I think. But I shouldn't have to worry about it all that much. So Trick Room's up. And there's nothing really that we want to do. We don't even really want to click Recover. I guess we could start grinding him down, but like I don't think I need to do that. I don't think there's a way this Archaludon actually like gets the W. Let me think. I could pivot out my Porygon and Rage Powder. That's a good play. That's it. Cool. Yeah, it's a safe way to do it. You can Snarl, you can do whatever you want, but I don't want to give you any boosts yet. Cool. Body press. That he tried. He tried to do it, bro. He tried it. That's funny. Yeah. Rage Powder Pivot Luna is what I do. There you go. It's almost like play the game. Volk's really good. All right, and remember the Reflex now gone, so we're good to go. And Headlong. You could probably just Headlong Heat Wave here. Battles canceled, wins up. So the team technically worked correctly. They had a sneaky play turn 1, but once we knew that we could lock that the Basculegion in the wrong move, we were fine. So pretty good first game, and yeah, let's go to another one. Okay, more Arc Rain, but this time with like Clefable. See, like, doesn't that Clefable have a lot more like pressure than a Sinistcha? I think it just does. Looking at this though, we underspeed a lot of these things. This is a 0 speed reduced Luna as well, so we know we underspeed their Luna. So like, I am gonna want TR, and I might be able to bluff getting it. If I were to lead like P2 Ape, they might really think that that's like a final Gambit Ape, and they might play like a follow me redirection turn. That could be something that happens. What's the issue with P2 Grim again? I think that's just a solid lead into the Luna, and then I think I need to pick the exact right Mon for the back. I think Volk is correct. It's the same 4. Volk with that little bit of redirection I think is very, very nice. And I don't hate Volk into things like Archaludon into Pelipper. I don't hate it. It definitely still works. I think if they didn't have Clefable there, I'd probably want to maybe use Hydreigon, because Hydreigon can be really, really good if you Steel Terror it into Blood Moon. Yo, thank you for the follow as well. Appreciate the follow. Yeah, I think this just lets me get up what I want, and I want to see what they lead. Funny thing you're playing around is Stellar Terra Rain for Alligator. Oof, that's a lot of damage. I've always thought, though, that for Alligator, like in almost every situation, like Gyarados is just better. Alright, so P2 Electabuzz. Okay, so we can go... We can do two things here. I'll play this greedy. How about this? Now, we could go Light Screen. There's nothing stopping us from going Light Screen Trick Room, but I think they're going to be opening up Taunt. So I'm actually going to open up like this. I'm going to open up a Light Screen Ice Beam, because you cannot click Taunt and Follow Me at the same time. And you know that I have TR. And so I think this is fair. This covers a lot of options too. If you just want to open up like Helping Hand, Blood Mooning me in my face, I'm still Light Screening, right? So they should be outspeeding our Porygon as well, because we're like a 0 speed reduced Porygon. But the fact that we got that special attack boost on that Ice Beam is very nice. So Light Screen goes up. What are you doing with the Electabuzz? Follow me. Taunt. Taunt. There it is. It's almost like I play the game. It's almost like I play the game, boys. Sheesh. Okay.